and spring wheat trading lower. All right, let's go to Chicago. He's the Vice President, Blue Line Futures, Oliver Sloup. You're out on the tour this week, right?
That's absolutely right. As you can see behind me, this is anything but Chicago. We're in Jay County, Indiana. So we started the crop tour last night with a meeting in Ohio and Dublin, just outside of Columbus. We have a split route, so half of our team did Ohio, and then we jumped straight over to Indiana. And so far, the results have been somewhat mixed. Our first stop was in Allen County, Indiana, and we saw quite a bit of tip back, which was, I think, expected to see some tip back throughout the tour at some point, but right off the bat was a little unexpected. So that continues to be a little bit of a concern. And talking with a farmer in Bernay, Indiana, he was talking about how much they need some rain here to finish out this crop. They've got a 50% chance tomorrow, and then really not anything on the radar for another 10 days or so. So they need some moisture here to finish this crop. So far, the yield results have been somewhat mixed. It'll be interesting to see what the other legs on the tour find and see if they can meet those lofty expectations that were set from the USDA last week.
Oliver, still pretty early here, but is it reminiscent of any other crop tour that you've seen so far?
You know, every year is a little bit different, and you're expected to see some variety as you make your way further west. And we kind of meet with the other team in Iowa and then up to Rochester. So far, it's been pretty good. I would say the great thing about this year so far is the weather seems to be ideal. There's been years past where it's been either too hot or too stormy, but I'd say mid-80s and sunny. It's a pretty nice way to start the tour. All
right, Oliver, hang on just a moment. We'll come back and pick up the conversation on the other side of Market Day Report. It's up 27. Let's go back to Oliver Sloup. He's with Blue Line Futures out on the Pro Farmer Crop Tour. Okay, I guess we'll work, the cattle into this, because what we're growing behind you is what we're feeding to the cattle, finishing off. How important are the two?
And that's exactly right. It's extremely important, and a lot of times you can find a correlation between grain prices and cattle prices. So far to start the week, though, we do have kind of a mobile office, so we're definitely watching the cattle markets as well. And I would say a pretty quiet week. I mean, we've really seen these trading ranges in live cattle and feeder cattle expand quite dramatically. For feeder cattle, I think the 14-day average true range is almost $7.50. And for live cattle, you're talking about a $4.50 average daily range for the last 2 weeks. So to see the market kind of, floating on either side of unchanged, I think is probably a good sign. Just kind of catching its breath, waiting for new news to cross the wire. Some traders thought that was going to come on Friday's USDA announcement with regards to screwworm, but there really wasn't a whole lot of new news there. So now it's just wait and see what this cash market does. If it can continue to gain ground, that should keep futures afloat. But if that starts to show signs of softening up, obviously the inverse effect, where you start to see long liquidation.
Well, at the end of the day, the thing that's probably most important from what you're doing out there in the field is bringing back to us whether or not that 188 is really a doable number. Right now, would you be willing to say 188 might be a stretch?
I would say it's probably a stretch. And when you're talking about really the markets and trading the markets, you're talking about what market participants are positioning for. And I think ahead of that report, market participants were largely baking in the fact that we had a big crop coming down the pipeline. I think the acre shift was a big kind of curveball at the market. But the fact that we've rejected lower prices following such a bearish report, I think is constructive. And I think the 188 yield leaves room for disappointment. So I think that gets walked back as we get into the end of the year.
Okay. Oliver Sloup is with Blue Line Futures. Hope the weather continues to cooperate for you. We'll see you back here again soon.
Hi, I'm Oliver Sloup, co-founder and vice president of Blue Line Futures. Join me for the 2025 Pro Farmer Crop Tour live from the heart of the Corn Belt. This year's Pro Farmer Crop Tour runs from August 18th to the 21st, and I'll be boots on the ground covering the eastern leg. I'll still be delivering my regular daily grain market commentary, but this time with a twist. Exclusive real-time updates from crop conditions to yield potential. You'll get my first-hand insights straight from the fields. Sign up now for our exclusive content, including on-the-go videos and in-depth findings you won't find anywhere else.